Welcome to the Roth IRA Cheat Code for Teens, where we walk through how a teenager can legitimately jumpstart wealth and potentially reach seven figures before age 30. We will cover the one non-negotiable requirement, the exact tax steps most families miss, simple investing strategies, powerful alternatives like 529 plans, and pitfalls to avoid. Stay through the end for a quick quiz and a practical action checklist. Here's today's roadmap. First, we'll show why a teen Roth IRA is such a powerful tool. Next, we'll unpack the core rule that contributions must come from earned income, which often means self-employment for teens. Then, we'll detail the filing reality, including Schedule C and self-employment tax. After that, we'll run the numbers on a $1,000 babysitting example to estimate the allowable Roth IRA contribution. We'll follow with a step-by-step setup to open and fund a custodial Roth IRA. Then we'll cover simple, effective investing strategies. We'll also compare 529 plans and the new Secure 2.0 rollover option. We'll finish with common mistakes to avoid and a couple of quizzes to lock in your understanding. Why start a teen Roth IRA? Roth IRAs grow tax-free. When you start contributions during the teen years, you extend the compounding runway by a decade or more. The contributions are made with after-tax dollars, and qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. Over time, this combination enables the potential to reach very large balances, potentially even seven figures by age 30, depending on savings, returns, and consistency. Let's now move into the core rule you must satisfy. The non-negotiable rule for a teen Roth IRA is that contributions must come from earned income. Qualifying work includes babysitting, lawn care, tutoring, refereeing, pet sitting, and similar services the teen personally performs. For most teens, this is self-employment, and a W-2 is not required to contribute to a Roth IRA. The teen should diligently track all income, with dates, customer names, services provided, amounts, and how payment was received. Casual jobs like babysitting or mowing a neighbor's lawn typically do not create reporting obligations for the payer, so you generally will not see a 1099 for small, informal work. The maximum contribution is limited by the lower of total earned income or the annual Roth IRA limit for the year. Always verify the current IRS limit. Before moving on, let's convert this rule into a practical workflow with a visual. This flowchart shows the practical path from earning money to funding a Roth IRA. First, the teen performs paid services. Next, they record every payment in a spreadsheet. Then, at tax time, they use Schedule C to report self-employment income and calculate net profit, and Schedule SE to compute self-employment tax. After that, they reduce their compensation by half of the self-employment tax to determine the maximum Roth eligible amount, and they also compare that figure to the annual IRA limit. With that cap established, they open a custodial Roth IRA and fund it up to the allowed amount. Finally, they invest in a simple portfolio, and they repeat the process each year with careful documentation. Here's the reality of taxes. Self-employment tax funds Social Security and Medicare and is generally 15.3% of net earnings. When your teen earns self-employment income, you should file a tax return. Use Schedule C to report the income and compute net profit, and Schedule SE to calculate the self-employment tax. For instance, if the teen earns $1,000 babysitting, that income should be reported even if no 1099 is issued. For contribution purposes, the maximum Roth IRA contribution is always the lower of total earned income or the annual IRA limit. Importantly, you must reduce the teen's earned income by half of the self-employment tax before calculating the maximum Roth contribution. Throughout, maintain meticulous records in a spreadsheet because documentation substantiates the legitimacy of the contribution. Let's run a simplified example. Assume the teen earns $1,000 from babysitting with no expenses. The estimated self-employment tax would be about $141. Half of that, around $70.50, is deductible and reduces the compensation used to determine the Roth IRA contribution limit. Therefore, the maximum Roth IRA contribution for this scenario would be approximately $929.50. Note that in practice, the Schedule SE calculation includes a 92.35% adjustment to net earnings. This table is a simplified estimate. Always verify with current IRS forms or a tax professional. Here's a practical sequence. First, confirm the teen's income is from services they performed. Second, Create a spreadsheet that logs date, client, service, hours, amount, and payment method. Third, estimate taxes and hold back enough cash so you don't overcontribute. Fourth, prepare the teen's tax return using Schedule C and Schedule SE, and file it, even if no income tax is due. Open a custodial Roth IRA at a reputable brokerage, with the parent or guardian as custodian and the teen as the account owner. Sixth, fund the account up to the allowable limit for the year and make sure the contribution is tagged to the correct tax year. Seventh, invest in low-cost, diversified index funds and consider automating purchases. Eighth, keep a complete archive of your income log, the filed return, brokerage confirmations, and annual statements. Quiz time. The question asks, which item best qualifies as earned income for a teen's Roth IRA? The options are 1. Cash from babysitting with jobs and payments tracked in a spreadsheet. 2. Birthday gifts from grandparents. 3. Dividends from investments in a custodial account. And 4. Allowance paid for chores with no documentation. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is cash from babysitting with jobs and payments tracked in a spreadsheet. That is, service income the teen earned and documented. Birthday gifts and investment dividends are not earned income for Roth IRA purposes. Untracked allowance without documentation also does not establish eligible compensation. Now that the account is funded, let's address what to buy. The simplest and most effective approach for most teens is a low-cost, diversified index fund or a small set of funds. The priority is keeping costs low and letting time in the market do the heavy lifting. A practical portfolio uses a broad U.S. index fund as the core, such as a total market or an S&P 500 fund. You can optionally add international stocks and a small bond allocation for stability. Keep expense ratios extremely low, ideally under 0.1%. Avoid hot tips, concentrated positions, or complex products with higher fees. The listed tickers are common examples for illustration only, not recommendations. Automate contributions or purchases to stay consistent. This pie chart illustrates a simple example allocation of 90% stocks and 10% bonds for a long time horizon. The heavy stock allocation seeks higher expected returns, while the small bond slice offers some stability. Families may adjust these percentages based on risk tolerance and preferences. The main advantage a teen has is time in the market. For example, if a teen contributes $3,000 per year for 5 years from age 14 through 18 and then stops, the money can continue compounding through age 30 at an assumed average return of around 7%. The point is that even modest early contributions can become substantial balances by 30 with no additional inputs. Consistency is more important than perfect timing, and the best approach is to choose a plan and stick with it. This timeline shows a contribution pattern starting at age 14, with annual contributions through 18, followed by a pause during college while the funds remain invested. Optional small contributions can resume during early career years. And then, even if contributions stop again in the late 20s, compounding continues. The Roth structure allows investment growth to accumulate without current tax, and qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. Here's a side-by-side comparison. A Roth IRA offers tax-free growth for retirement and flexible access to contributions, but it requires earned income and is limited by annual contribution caps. It's designed for long-term wealth building. A 529 plan is tailored for education expenses with potential state tax benefits. Funds must be used for qualified education or face tax and penalties, but Secure 2.0 introduced a pathway to roll over unused amounts to the beneficiary's Roth IRA, subject to specific limits and conditions. Choose based on your primary goal, or use both strategically. Under Secure 2.0, you may roll over unused 529 funds to the beneficiary's Roth IRA, subject to strict rules. There is a lifetime rollover maximum of $35,000 per beneficiary. Any rollover amount counts toward the beneficiary's annual Roth IRA contribution limit for that year. The 529 plan must have been open for at least 15 years, and contributions made within the last 5 years, and earnings on those contributions, are not eligible for rollover. The rollover must go to the beneficiary's Roth IRA, not the parents. Because guidance continues to evolve, always confirm current details before relying on this strategy. Here's another quiz. Which statement about 529 to Roth IRA rollovers is true? Option 1. The 529 must be open at least 15 years. Option 2. You can roll over unlimited amounts. Option 3. Rollovers do not count toward the annual Roth IRA limit. Option 4. Rollovers must go to the parent's Roth IRA. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is that the 529 must be open at least 15 years. In addition, there is a lifetime rollover cap, and rollovers count toward the annual Roth IRA limit. The rollover must go to the beneficiary's Roth IRA, not the parent's. Avoid these pitfalls. Do not contribute more than the teen's earned income or the annual limit. Do not ignore self-employment tax, and make sure to file the teen's return. Remember to reduce earned income by half of the self-employment tax when determining the allowable Roth contribution. Keep thorough documentation. Avoid speculative or high-fee investments. Finally, if college funding is a major goal, evaluate whether a 529 plan's potential state tax benefits should be part of your strategy. This sequence diagram outlines responsibilities over time. The teen logs income, and the parent or guardian files the teen's return with Schedule C and Schedule SE. The IRS acknowledges the filing. The parent or guardian opens a custodial Roth IRA and funds it within the allowed limit. The brokerage facilitates investing in low-cost index funds. The teen then reviews and rebalances annually. This loop repeats each year to sustain good habits and compliance. This video is for educational purposes only and is not tax, legal, or investment advice. Tax thresholds, IRS forms, and limits change. Calculations shown are simplified. Actual computations follow the instructions on Schedule C and Schedule SE and may include adjustments such as the 92.35% factor for self-employment tax and other nuances. Consult a qualified tax professional or financial advisor before acting. Let's summarize. First, earned income is essential, and it does not need to be W-2. Self-employment qualifies. Second, file the teen's tax return and pay self-employment tax as required. Third, compute the maximum Roth IRA contribution by reducing earned income by half of the self-employment tax and then comparing with the annual IRA limit. Fourth, invest simply in low-cost index funds and let compounding work over time. Fifth, if education funding is a priority, evaluate 529 plans and the new rollover flexibility under Secure 2.0. Thanks for watching. If this video was useful, please like it, share it with a parent or teen who could use a head start, and subscribe for more practical money blueprints. Drop a comment with your teen's first side hustle or your questions, and we may feature them in a future episode.